Hello, my YouTube family. Hi guys, I'm back. So good to be with you guys again. I'm back in the kitchen. Y'all back in the kitchen, okay? So today we are conjuring up one of my favorite fruit is lemon. So let's see if you can guess what we're gonna make today. It's a dessert, and we're gonna make a lemon meringue pie. Oh my God, that is so good. And I mean with all the trimmings. I'm gonna do a homemade crust for the first time. Everything is for the first time because I've never even made a lemon meringue pie before. I'm gonna have old school methods in here, and I'm gonna have new school methods in here, but we're gonna just hook this up, guys. We're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna do a homemade pie crust. I'm gonna show you how to do that. We're also gonna do, of course, the homemade meringue. Yes. And then we're also gonna do the homemade filling, okay? So it's gonna be all the three different steps for the three different layers of the pie. I'm excited about this. I'm really happy about it. So we're gonna dive right in. I have my ingredients before me, and so I'll show you guys what we're working with today. Let's get it. Okay, let's go with our ingredients. So of course, we're gonna use Swan's Down cake flour for our crust. Now what's funny about this is I didn't think you can use cake flour for the crust, but you can, right? So I'm gonna use cake flour. Now some people of course use regular flour, which is the typical way of doing it, but I said, you know what, let me put a little twist on here and let me use the cake flour. Hey, so we're gonna use the cake flour today. Of course, you cannot have a lemon meringue pie without lemons, okay? Without lemons. You know what I was saying about the lemons. It says, if life throws you lemons, then you can make a lemon meringue pie. Anyway, I left my own jokes. Anyway, so we're gonna have some lemon. Of course, we have lemons there. I have already zest some of the lemons that I have already, which is here, okay? So here's a little zest. I might use zest, guys. I'm not really big on zest as far as inside of the filling where I'm eating it. I'm a texture person, okay? So I don't really like a lot of texture, like crunchy stuff, or that, you know, something that's soft in my mouth and I'm crunching on something inside of that. Like, I don't like that. So anyway, but I do like the zest flavor that it brings the pie. It just makes it extremely delicious that way. So I may use zest and I may not. I don't know. I gotta see. But anyway, I have zest some for just in case. We also gotta have butter. Gotta have that butter, guys. Got the butter. So this is a half a stick of butter that is cold, and I've already chopped it up because I have to, you know, put that into the dough as I mix it up. I have my lemon juice that I have already squeezed here. So this is fresh lemon juice. We also have to have cold water. So I'm just gonna use a bottle of water. Just a few tablespoons of this we're gonna need. So this is cold. I had it chilling in the refrigerator. Of course, we gotta have our eggs. Okay, so we gotta have the eggs. Then we can do our yolk and our whites, right? So we'll get that separated as well. We'll get that going. And of course, we gotta have our cream of tartar for our meringue on top, right? And so here in my mixer, I have cake flour, and I've combined sugar and salt. And so I've already kind of whisked that together here and just manually, okay? So you can sift it if you choose to, but I just kind of pour it all in my mixing bowl here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and just whisk it together so it can be nice and incorporated. And then we're gonna now start to incorporate the butter. So that's basically the ingredients. If I've missed anything, of course, everything, I will definitely put it in the description for you guys, okay? So that you guys can find all the ingredients you're gonna need to make this amazing, okay? And it's gonna be good. Lemon meringue pie. Okay, now that we have our ingredients in the mixer, as far as the dry ingredients, we're gonna go ahead and give that a little stir here. That's good there. And now we will go ahead and start adding the butter. Okay, so here's the butter. So here are my little chunks that I showed you earlier. We'll go ahead and start adding that into the butter mix. There we go. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and just stir this up, mix it up a little bit until the butter is in smaller pieces, okay? Okay. Okay, so I'll show you guys. Okay, so that's good there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take this off so I can show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so we see that it's still dry in here, right? So it's still dry, but there's little, like bigger little clumps of the butter. So you want to just kind of break those up a little bit more, all the big clumps. Okay, there's a tad there, so just kind of feel for the big chunks of them and kind of break them up a little bit. Sometimes the mixer doesn't, you know, catch it really well there. It's fine. Okay, so just go ahead and do that. Kind of fill around there. All right, that should be good enough. And then we'll give it one more little stir there. And then ready for the next step, which would be to add the cold water. Okay, so we still want a dry mixture here. Okay, let's put the whisk back on. There we go. Okay, back. Okay. All right. All right, so now we want to add our water. Okay, now we'll add our 3 tablespoons of cold water. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, to the side. And then we will resume our mixing. Okay. So just give it a nice little mix there. That should be good. And let's see. Okay. So here you should have dough that's not all the way mixed. Okay. So basically you see that it's still like wet. You know, it's still dry. You know, it's not really that. Okay, and that's fine. But what you want to test it to see if it's ready is when you grab some, and then if you can squeeze it and it comes together like this, then this means that the dough is ready. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, so now you want to take some saran wrap and you want to go ahead and tear your piece off like so. Okay, put it on your cutting board evenly. So now you have to go ahead and chill the dough. The dough needs to rest. So I'll go ahead, and this is what we're looking at. And so we're just going to go ahead and just plop this right over as is on the top of the saran wrap, okay? And we, voila, okay, there we go, voila. And then we'll just gather your sides, like so. There's other wraps that work better, but basically you just want to incorporate put your sides together here, gather it all up, okay. And I'm just going to make I'm just going to press down on it, twist it to close it. Okay. Do something for this side, so you just want to, and then basically you're just going to make a little disc of it, like so. Voila. And there you go. Okay, so go ahead and you have your disc here of your dough, and then you need to refrigerate it for at least 20 minutes, and then you'll be ready to pat out your pie crust. Okay guys, so now we just took the dough out. It's been resting in the refrigerator actually for a little bit over an hour now, but you can rest it any time. I mean, from 20 to 2 hours, from 20 minutes to 2 hours if you need to. This recipe actually only called for 20, but it's okay. The longer your dough rests, the better it's actually going to be, okay? So at this point now, we're going to go ahead and make sure your oven is preheated to 400. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, okay? And then I'm already seeing here that, you see here on the side, it's like a little dry, so they didn't really get incorporated in there. Everything else looks pretty good. It's cracked, and it's okay. So all you do is, in order to get that dryness in here, you just go ahead and pull up the sides, and then you just kind of fold it into the actual dough. So you can make sure that all of those dry parts get included. So just do this. Just continue to just kind of press it in so that you don't have any more. At least the dry parts on the edges, because then you're going to work the dough a little bit more anyway, okay? All right. So you'll do that. That should help to get them all incorporated, okay? All right, so then you'll just put this on a little floured surface, okay? And you don't want your dough to stick to the counter, okay? So there you go. Okay, so now we have our dough out, and it's in the form of a disc here. Okay, and so now we're gonna put it here, make sure you're coated with flour here so that it will not stick. And then you have your rolling pin. We'll put a little on the rolling pin as well, a little flour there so that, okay, that's the oven is ready, preheated at 400. All right, so now you're just gonna roll it out. Okay, you're gonna turn it, roll it again. You're gonna do these 1/4-inch rolls here so that your disc can kind of stay in the circular. So I'm gonna stop there for now. We're gonna test it. So at this point, don't worry about your edges. We just really want to make sure that the center is there. So I have my pie pan here. And what you do is you're just gonna put your pie. So this is my pie pan. Isn't it cute? So anyway, I'm just gonna put it here like so. And just making sure, I'm not dropping it on there. I'm just making sure that it's all gonna cover it. And it's gonna cover it, so it's fine. I'm not worried about the edges because we're gonna tuck the edges anyway, okay? So let's set this aside for a moment. I'll show you how to do this. Just roll our dough onto the pan, set it down, and then just gonna gently roll it back over into the pan. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little flour in here as well, even though I should have did that before, guys, sorry. Lightly put that so that it won't stick while I'm doing this, okay? So there you go. And then you just kind of press it into the pan. That seems to be. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get some foil and cover it up. We're gonna show you a technique. We can go ahead and just cook the dough. The dough needs to be slightly cooked a little bit, and that's why we have our oven preheated to 400. Okay. Okay. So since I'm not ready to quite cook this yet, I'm gonna actually put it in the freezer. I'm gonna wrap it with some press and seal, and I'm gonna wrap it and put it in the freezer, and then just kind of let it cool. It's kind of soft right now, so it needs to be a little bit more firmer. And then once I put it in there, we'll let it chill for a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and start the filling. Okay, so as we get started on the filling, this is where we're going to start. So here, you need a saucepan or pot or skillet, whatever you want to use. So here, to start the filling, we're going to go ahead and add 1.5 cups of sugar. This is 1.5 cups of sugar. We're going to add 5 tablespoons of cornstarch. Okay, 5 tablespoons of cornstarch. Dump that in. And then we're just going to do like a little pinch of salt. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and incorporate those ingredients in. We'll just whisk those together real quick. Just make sure those. Okay, so this part is we're going to keep the lemon, the flavoring separate, okay? Because the next step we're going to have to do is the eggs. Okay, so right now this is about 1/3 cup of lemon, which it requires a 1/2 cup, okay? But I'm doing less because I'm doing my own extra flavorings here. So here I'm going to do like maybe, this is a 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm just going to do 1/4, probably not that much, just like a drop actually. This is like a drop. So I'm just going to put a drop in there, maybe 2 of what's left in here, right? So we'll do that. And then I'm also going to do probably a drop of the lemon extract as well. Drop there, okay? And then I'll give that a mix. I'll use another spoon for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of mix up here just a tad, okay? So I'm putting all my wet ingredients together. So that you set to the side. Okay, so this goes sits to the side for now, and then we're gonna go ahead and work on our eggs. Okay, so now we have our eggs, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate the yolk from the whites, okay? Now I have my little handy dandy egg separator here. I don't know if it's gonna work, y'all, but we're gonna try. If not, then I'm gonna just do it the old fashioned way, you know, just cracking the egg and do this to it. So let's see how it's gonna work. So here we go. Let's go ahead and crack it. And then I'm gonna go here, and then we'll open it. And let's see how that's gonna work. Okay, so it looks like, just shaking it off there. All right, voila, there's a little bit more yolk there. Okay, so your egg whites you're gonna use for your meringue, and your yolks you're gonna use right now for your filling. Just like that. There we go, okay? So then I'll just put my egg yolk there. And then we'll do another. So you need 4 eggs, okay? Like I said, but you can do it the old school way too. Like this is, I'm just trying to make it easier, you know, and quicker. So seems to be working okay. I want to be kind of gentle because I don't want it to crack. I don't want the egg yolk to bust. So just shake it, moving around a little bit to break it off. There we go. Okay, and then that goes here. And then of course, for those who haven't seen how you do it the old school way, I'll go ahead and do one that way. Crack it. This shell's kind of small. I don't know if it's too small, but it's okay. You should work it. So basically, you're just gonna go shell side by side, shell by side like that. Okay, until all the yolk is on, the whites actually. Okay, so that's how you do it the old school way. And then you just put your yolk there. Okay, do it again here. Make sure you don't put any shells in. Ooh, crack that one. Yeah, you gotta be really careful. Ooh, see the yolk. So a lot of the yolk had already went, but I mean the whites fell over, but the yolk it busted. See. So I'm just gonna let whatever's there is gonna be there. It's only a little bit, and I don't want to take a chance of the yolk falling into the whites, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour it over, which should be fine. Okay, so there how you separate it, and once you separate it, you're gonna go ahead and give your eggs a good whisk here. Okay, so you're gonna mix that up. Nice. You see, all of this is being done off the stove because you are gonna have to combine this with your dry ingredients, and then you have to cook it on the stove as well. Nice. All right. Okay, so now that your eggs are nice and whisked here very thoroughly, let's just put your egg white to the side. So now you're going to go ahead and incorporate your lemon juice. Now with me, you know, I added my extracts, right? So I still have lemon juice left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to taste it after I incorporate everything and get it going. If I need to taste more lemony, then I'll add more lemon juice. But for right now, I'm going to add what we have here. So basically, you're going to add the lemon juice. And you're also going to add, now this recipe that I'm doing calls for milk, whole milk. So I'm going to add whole milk because I like for my filling to be nice and creamy. I don't really like my meringue with that's like jello-y looking. So the milk helps to make it more creamy, like a creamy texture, opposed to just like the jello type texture, okay? You don't have to add milk if you don't choose to. Okay, now that you have your egg and milk mixture with your lemon extract, you're gonna go ahead and just pour this into your dry ingredients. And all of this is being done off the stove right now, okay? So you gotta do all this first, and you wanna pour this into your dry ingredients, like so. So then we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and just mix this all together like so. And make sure all of this is incorporated nicely, blended. You don't want to put this on your stove and do this because you don't want any clumps or lumps in it when you start to cook it, okay? So just make sure everything is incorporated in here, okay? It's blended, there's no lumps, no clumps. And then you're gonna go ahead and just put it on your fire. On like a medium low heat, and you're gonna constantly stir it until it thickens. Okay, so now we need to put on the stove, and we need to turn on the fire to maybe like a medium high heat. You know, every stove is different, so mine has numbers on it. So I'm gonna put it on like a 6. 6 is kind of like my medium high, okay? So now you wanna stand down. You're gonna have to be at the pot. You gotta be prepared for this when you make this type of pie. You have to constantly sit here and stir this. It's going to take about 9 to 10 minutes for it to thicken, but you have to constantly stir this so that it will not lump up. Happy stirring. I'm still stirring, y'all. I want to show you something though. So it's been about 6 minutes now I've been stirring this, right? But I'm going to show you how it's starting to get thick. See that? So that tell you that it is working, okay? So you just gotta keep stirring, and you just gotta be patient because it's gonna be totally worth it. Okay, so I am constantly stirring here. This took a little bit longer than 10 minutes, but it's okay. So anyway, I just want to show you guys now that it is nice and thick, right? So at this point, you want to bring it to a boil, which is already boiling for me anyway. So once it starts boiling like this, and you're constantly stirring, okay? Don't forget to constantly stir because it will burn, okay? You don't want it to burn. So at this point, now it's ready to add the rest of the ingredients in here. At this point, you would add the lemon extract, okay? But I added it, remember, I added that plus my my lemon illusion. I added that into the wet ingredients and lemon juice, and then I poured it in here. So this point, you would just remove it from the fire now. So I'm gonna remove it from the fire. And I'll set it over here since this burner's not hot. Now you're gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay, I just put the pot back over here, guys. Anyway, I turned the fire off, so it should be good. So this is 1/4 cup of butter. So now you're gonna add this to your mixture here. And then you're just gonna mix it up until it's melted, okay? And so you just stir it up until the butter melts. This is the consistency that you need to see, okay? So at this point, it's actually ready to go into your pie crust. There you are, your filling's ready. Okay, so while we just finished our filling, I actually decided to go ahead and put my pie crust in the oven. So I actually have it in the oven. I'm baking it, pre-baking it for about 8 minutes so they can start cooking already. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and start our meringue, okay? So just putting on my little whisk here, and then we will get it going here, okay? Okay, so now we're ready to whisk. So what we'll do is this are the egg whites that we took the yolks from for the filling. Now we're gonna use these for the actual meringue, okay? So this is 4 egg whites. So we'll just pour that here in the mixer, okay? And then it's required a 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So we'll add that. And then we'll just give this a mix. So we need to mix this up until it becomes fluffy, and then we'll start adding sugar. It requires 1/3 cup of sugar. We're gonna add the sugar tablespoon at a time. We're not gonna add it all at once, because if you add it all at once, it's gonna mess up your meringue, okay? So you want your meringue nice and fluffy. So you add the sugar 1 tablespoon at a time, okay? Once it's fluffy, and I'll show you what that looks like, okay? Let's go. A little bit higher, so we have it at least a whisk on a high. I did it first to incorporate the cream of tartar, and now we'll go ahead and just whisk it on high. I'm going to turn it higher and higher as it goes once it starts to. Okay, so you see how it's getting foamy now? That's what you want. And then we're going to start adding the sugar 1 tablespoon at a time. So we're gonna stop it, and let's see what we're working with here. Okay, wow, it's nice and fluffy. Look at that. Ooh, look at that, guys. It looks amazing. Look. Okay, that is like awesome. Okay, so there you go. Right. So that's it. So we're gonna get this down in this blender. Eye on it. So let's take this out, guys. All right, so I can shake this off here. There we go. Wow, this is exactly what you want to see. It's exactly what you want to see. Here we go. I'm gonna taste it. Oh my goodness, this tastes so good. Wow. Okay. So you wanna, it needs to be foamy like this so that you can make the peaks in it. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so there you go. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna stir it up a little bit. just a tad, just to get it a little hot here. So at this point, the only thing that's not fully cooked is the crust, okay? But it's okay because it's gonna cook in the oven when you put it in. We lowered, I had it in there at 400 degrees, just pre-cooking the pie crust. And then this filling is done and the meringue is done. So basically you're really just putting it in here so that everything can kind of mesh together and that the pie crust can cook. Okay, so I'm just stirring this up right here a little bit just to kind of rewarm it just a tad. And I also added that lemon zest to this as well. I forgot to add that, guys, but I did add it. Okay, so it is in here now and it is delicious. Okay, so now we are ready to fill our pie crust. So this is what the pie crust looked like when it came out of the oven. So it's definitely homemade, okay? All right, so at this point, we'll go ahead and just go ahead and put in your filling to your pie crust. So nice and done. Oh, I'm so excited. It's like all my firsts, like, you know, like I love this, I love my channel here because these are all first things I'm making for the first time. I've always desired to do this, but, you know, had a little fear, didn't feel like I knew how to cook, you know, and I just struggled. I was like, it's okay. I'll leave the cooking to other people. I'll just eat it, right? So anyway, so here's your filling. Okay, so that's good there. Okay, so just gonna smooth it around, make it even. This is a deeper dish here, so I'm gonna have to put a whole bunch of meringue on here to fill it to the top. Well, I'll just use all I have. But this is a deeper dish, pie pan, but definitely you can use the 9-inch ones, like the smaller ones, which I'll probably eventually get him. I've been looking for one, guys, and I have not been able to find one. Just the plain glass ones, I have not been able to find them. I know I can always go online and order it, but I prefer to just see it myself, you know. So I'll go to the stores and look for things, but anyway, so I may have to order online if I can't find it. So anyway, so there's your filling, okay. And now we'll go ahead and just fill the meringue. So go ahead and just scoop the meringue onto the pie, like so. So that's right now. So this is pretty much what's left. And I'm just going to go ahead and just press it down and smooth it around. Make sure you go all the way to the edge of the pie so that when it bakes, the filling won't shrink because it has something to cling on to. We need to put this in the oven for a little bit, y'all. All right, there we go. Nice. And in the oven we go. And so we'll put it in there for about 20 minutes and then we'll pull it out and it'll be ready. In the oven for 20 minutes. Okay, we are taking the pie out of the oven. It's been 20 minutes. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Look at this. So pretty. Oh my gosh, look. Okay, the pie is out of the oven. It looks amazing. Look at it. Oh my gosh, look at that pie. So good. Now, the only thing I'm a little suspect about is the crust. The crust is really, really light. But it's okay, because it looks like I'm sure it's done. But we're going to taste it anyway, and we're going to have this homemade crust as well. So, hey. But anyway, other than that, it looks amazing. It's been 20 minutes in the oven. We're going to let it cool on a cooling rack for about an hour. And then we'll come back and cut it, and we'll show you guys what it looks like, okay? lemon meringue pie. Here's the pie. It's been cooling now for a little bit over an hour now. And so we're gonna go ahead and cut it. Okay. There we go. All right. So there is the pie. Hey, it's the best I can get it, guys. But there it is, right? There's your filling. It's nice and thick. And then your meringue, nice and toasted. And then we'll taste it. Okay. All right, so here's the pie. And so we're going to go right ahead and taste it. I'll make sure I get some crust on the bottom, and meringue. Okay, now let's see. Very good. Very good. Meringue is nice and fluffy. The filling is nice and tangy. The crust tastes pretty good. Okay. The crust is nice and flaky. Show you some of the crust on the inside. A little meringue. Yeah. Turned out perfect. Oh wow. Very good. Okay guys, so lemon meringue pie. I'm very proud of it, making it from scratch from the very first time. Turned out great. So once again, here we are for another video done. I'm excited to continue to bring these recipes to you guys and show you guys how to make certain things. And I know that a lot of you guys are way more advanced than I am, right? You've been probably baking and for these pies and cakes for like decades. And I'm grateful for you guys and thank you for putting your videos out there. So thank you so much. It's been great hanging out with you guys yet again. I look forward to the next video. Thank you so much for you subscribing to my channel, and I ask that you will pass it along, pass the recipe along to others, your friends, your family. Spread the love with food, right? But yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Enjoy your lemon meringue as I'm gonna continue to enjoy this myself. Our family hashtag, what in God's delicious name.